2. Curve, change, and slider. And he has a very good feel for pitching. Understands how to set the hitters up and finish them off.
The Blue Jays are wearing black. The Royals are wearing blue. Game number 2 now underway as Richmond throws the first pitch. And it's ball 1 to the leadoff man, David DeJesus. Great of you to join us this afternoon. This is Jamie Campbell with Rance Mulliniks and Sam Cosentino. DeJesus held out of the lineup last night. He sends this ball foul. The count is 1-1. Now one of the longest tenured Royals. And he's facing Scott Richmond in his first full year in the major leagues. Start number 10 for Scott, the native of North Vancouver, British Columbia. He bounces that one 2-1. Richmond's third win this year came in Kansas City. At that time, a career high 7 innings. He pitched a dandy against the Royals that day. DeJesus gets under this, pops it out to shallow left. Adam Lind is there, and there's one away.
Defensively this afternoon for the Jays, Lind in left, Wells in center, Rios in right. Bautista gets the call at third this afternoon. Scudero at short. McDonald gets a rare start at second base. Overbay at first. Chavez does the catching this afternoon, and Scott Richmond the pitching.
McDonald makes just his second start of the season, and perhaps Aaron Hill didn't put up a fuss when Cito Gaston suggested a day off today. Aaron's 0 for his last 25 as Willie Bloomquist, the shortstop, sets in.
You don't lose anything defensively with Johnny Mack at second base. Might be the best defensive player as far as the infield is concerned on the ball club.
Here's Richmond behind in the count, 3-0. And the pitch catches the strike zone. Bloomquist getting something in Kansas City he never got in Seattle, and that is regular playing time. He was, for the most part, a utility man with the Mariners.
And he is a super utility man for the Royals.
He slaps it to center field, turning and looking at the ball as well as he makes the catch. And so Bloomquist lines out. So with 2 gone, heavy hitting Billy Butler comes in to face Richmond. We last saw Scott Richmond in a relief outing against the Boston Red Sox. Last Sunday, he went 2 innings, gave up a hit, struck out 1. Relieving for the first time at the major league level. And his absence from the rotation, Rance, really didn't have anything to do with performance. It was merely that Richmond is the number 5 starter in the rotation, and they wanted, with days off, to give Roy Halladay regular starts. They had to squeeze somebody from the rotation, and Richmond was the man.
Cito Gaston made it very clear at the very beginning of the season that Roy Halladay was going to go every 5th day no matter what.
Change of speeds there. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Butler.
But Scott Richmond, the type of individual, type of personality that I would think can handle this type of situation very well.
Never heard a word of complaint from him. Went down to the pen, pitched once, and he's back in there today against the Kansas City Royals.
And that's not easy to do. That's tough when you're not getting work consistently to stay sharp.
Here's the 2-2, line to right field and heading for the seats and out of play.
This is the type of situation where oftentimes Richmond likes to go with the hard slider.
Goes with a breaking ball down, and it's a full count on Butler. There's Tim Tashita behind home plate, signaling the pitcher. So Richmond's into the windup. Here's the pitch. Line right at Scudero. He makes the stab, and that's it. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals in the first inning. Winners of 31 games, and they have mixed up the lineup just a bit with Raul Chavez getting a start. John McDonald, as you know. Lyle Overbay, the hottest hitter right now, an 11-game hit streak. He'll be in the 7th spot tonight against Luke Hochshaver, a right-hander just summoned from AAA Omaha and a former #1 overall pick in the June draft. In fact, 3 years ago today, Hochshaver was taken with the first pick by the Kansas City Royals. He faces Marco Scudero. What a night for Marco last night. 3 doubles. He scorches that ball foul. That's a career high for him at the plate. And he scored twice, so Marco is #1 in the American League with 45 runs scored this year. And that's about all you can ask, Rance, from your leadoff hitter.
He has been tremendous all season long. Excellent on base percentage. Has been very productive in terms of runs scored, runs driven in out of the leadoff spot. And has been outstanding defensively every day at shortstop. Made just 1 error all season.
The 1-2 pitch from Hochshaver runs in at the belt and almost hits Scudero.
That's a good pitch from Hochshaver. Ran that sinker in on his hands. And that pitch right there will definitely open up the outer third of the plate. Keep you from leaning out over.
Here comes the 2-2. And he gets Scudero to wave a strikeout.
That's what that fastball in off the plate on the hands will do. Force a hitter to kind of dial it up a little bit, and then you're very susceptible to chase the hard slider.
Hochshaver's made just 3 starts prior to this one in the big leagues this season. He got rocked in his opening start May 12th in Oakland. His best of the 3 came in his last outing in St. Louis. He suffered a 5-0 loss, but gave up 4 runs on 7 hits in 6 1/3. And he faces Jose Bautista, who's batting second for the first time this year. This the 58th game of the season for the Blue Jays, and finally Aaron Hill gets a day off. So here is your #2 hitter. Bautista pops this one up. And the ball is twisting out of play.
Scouting report this afternoon on Hochevar. A fastball in the low 90s with sink, average, curve, and change. The key for him this afternoon will be his sinker. If he can keep it down and rely on that good movement down in the strike zone, he can be very effective.
Two balls and a strike now. The Royals are missing Sidney Ponson due to injury from the rotation. Hochevar's up with the club for a second time. Here's a shot on the ground for the shortstop Bloomquist. He sidearms to first to get Bautista. 2 gone. Well, let's go back to that 2006 draft 3 years ago today. In fact, the year prior, Hochevar was taken with the 40th pick by the Dodgers, but refused to sign, played independent ball, and benefited the next year, taken first overall, 2 spots ahead of Evan Longoria. And 14 before, the Blue Jays took Travis Snyder out of a high school in the state of Washington. He faces Alex Rios now. Snyder, for those wondering, is on the disabled list with Las Vegas right now. He's suffered a slight lower back injury. They have a 7-day disabled list down there as opposed to the 15-day up here. Nothing serious, I'm told, and that's good news. Here's the big arcing breaking ball that is a little high. 2-0 on Alex Rios. A grounder that is played nicely by Tien. He gets the throw over in time. A tough hop, but he gets the sure out, and it's a 1-2-3 first for the Royals. Every kilowatt counts replica Rogers Center giveaway. That's a long one. And your chance to pick up a replica of the Rogers Center. They're handing out 10,000 of these. And note the retractable roof as part of the 20-year celebration of this building. So come on down to the ballpark and watch Roy Halladay face the Kansas City Royals in game number 3. First pitch is popped up. Shielding his eyes, Chavez right in front of his own dugout. He takes care of heavy hitting Mike Jacobs. Good to get a power hitting left-hander out of the way, because if there's one thing Richmond has had trouble with this year, left-handers with power. He's given up 8 home runs, all of them to left-handed hitters. Here's a guy with sock who hits from the right side. Jose Guillen had a 2-run home run last night. You know, in 9 previous starts, Richmond's really only had one bad outing, and that was an inning and 2/3 against the Yankees on May 13th. He gave up 5 runs on 7 hits that day. His other loss was a complete game loss in Oakland.
Had that one bad inning, the second inning in Oakland, when he gave up all those runs that afternoon, and the other 7 innings were shutout baseball.
Incredible. Oakland scored 5 times in the second, and the other 7 innings he gave up just 1 hit and walked 1 man. Here it's a 1-2 count on the right fielder Guillen. The kick and the pitch coming from Richmond, and Guillen stays off of it. But that illustrates why his omission from the rotation recently has really nothing to do with performance. On the 2-2, here it comes, and he runs it in on Guillen. A full count now.
Well, after back-to-back sliders, down and away, trying to run the fastball in on the hands of Guillen.
Popped him up. Overbay near the bag. Puts Guillen away for out number 2. 5 up, 5 down for Richmond, as Mark Teahan, a dual citizen and member of Canada's World Baseball Classic team, steps in. Teahan was supposed to get most of his reps this year at second base, but he's playing third now because their highly touted prospect Alex Gordon has missed most of the year after hip surgery. That's grounded down the right side, backhanded by Overbay. He wins the foot race, and another clean inning for Richmond. 1.5 in the books, no score in Toronto. Previous 14 games. This from a team that hit so many of them in the early part of the season. Speaking of, Vernon Wells has gone almost a month. In fact, I think a calendar month as of today. His last home run came on the 6th of May against the Angels. Stuck on 5 as Vernon.
I've never seen Vernon go this long without hitting his stride. He'll make a good swing once in a while, but not consistently. He's just a little out of sync with his rhythm, and has been for the most part all year. You see that looks a little bit out of sync. It's like the ball gets there and he's just kind of reacting to it. It doesn't look like it has any flow to the swing right now. And, you know, when you flow and have rhythm, that's when you're going to have better timing.
He's behind 1-2, and he slaps it on the ground to the third baseman, Tian. He goes across the diamond to get Wells, one gone. Well, Rance, if Vernon is out of sync, Adam Lind certainly is not.
No, he would be in sync. No pun intended, but hit the ball hard 3 times last night, lined out in his first at bat. Line drive to left field for a base hit, and then a line drive left field out of the ballpark.
He's hit safely in 7 consecutive, and he pops that one up on the first pitch. Bloomquist calls off Tian and puts away the second out. Adam had an opportunity in his first at bat in last night's game to run a streak of 9 consecutive hits in 9 at bats, but lined out sharply to center field. And so he is now tied with 3 other men for the record of 8 hits in 8 consecutive at bats with Paul Molitor, Tony Fernandez, and my partner today, Rance Mullenix. Good company there, Rance. I bet you don't even remember getting 8 consecutive.
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I was in Minnesota. Actually, I think I hit a couple of home runs during the course of that run. And I remember when it ended, we came back home and I think faced Lamar Hoyt down at Exhibition Stadium, and I grounded out in the first at bat. That ended the streak.
He was about 2 years removed from winning the Cy Young, as I recall, at that time. Hochevar with a 2-1 count on Kevin Millar. Millar the DH today. Here's the pitch, and he swings and misses. That evens the count at 2-2.
So far today, Hochevar has done a very nice job pitching in effectively with his fastball, and then going back to the outer third with a good hard slider.
Pitch on the way, line to left field. Coming in quickly is DeJesus, and he makes the grab. Well hit by Millar, but he's got nothing to show for it. Statistical information provided by StatsInc. Well, it's the day after the night before, so for some of the members of the 1989 team celebrated here last night. So many like Mookie Wilson and Tony Fernandez, Kelly Gruber, and Mike Flanagan were in attendance and watched the Blue Jays defeat the Royals here. Neither team has a hit yet. Scoreless after 2. And the Royals will bring Alberto Callaspo to the plate first to begin the 3rd inning. Did you guys go out last night?
We didn't go out. We were here at the Renaissance Hotel. And actually, Sam joined us for a while, and then Mike Flanagan, myself, and Dwayne Ward sat there for quite some time and talked about a lot of different things, most of which revolved around baseball and some of the good old the stories that we start to reminisce and talk about.
Here's Callaspo. He takes a strike.
It's really great to get back together. I think the thing that we all miss the most and maybe appreciate more than we ever did are the relationships that we developed.
Lofted to left field, and the catch is made by Lind. He was playing in enough to get to that ball before it hit the lawn, and Callaspo lines out.
Nice play by Adam Lind. It was a sinking line drive that he initially didn't get a real good read on, but was able to recover, make a nice play. Here's a better look at it. You can see didn't break right away on the ball.
Here's the catcher then. Brian Pena, who is backing up for the most part. Miguel Olivo these days. John Buck is on the disabled list. Pena's big league debut came with Atlanta in 05. He played 71 games with the Braves before joining Kansas City. If you joined us last night, you saw the Blue Jays become the first team to really knock around Zach Greinke. He only went 5 innings and gave up 7 runs on 9 hits, 5 of them earned. And his record now drops to 8-2. Here's one heading towards center field, and Pena's got the first hit of the ball game.
There's a curveball from Scott Richmond that stays up in the strike zone. Pena hits it off the end of the bat and dumps it in front of Wells in center field, right center.
So we have a base runner. 2+ innings in. Mitch Meyer, the center fielder, squares to bunt and bunts it foul.
And a good idea. Bautista was playing back at third base, not respecting the bunt from Meyer. And if he'd have gotten the ball down the third base line, was going to have himself an easy hit.
Meyer was a high draft pick, 30th overall by the Royals in 2003. And so Richmond waits on the 0-1, comes to the plate, and a roller to McDonald. He turns for the bag at second, and Scudero combines with Overbay to finish up the double play. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Overbay leads off for the Blue Jays. Marlins will be here, and so too will Baylor Moore, one of those players who pitched for both the Blue Jays and the Expos in his career. So join us at Rogers Center. 416-341-1234 is the number to call. BlueJays.com has ticket information, and you can buy them at your local Rogers Plus locations. It's a brilliant Saturday afternoon here in Toronto. Scoreless into the last of the third. I'm Jamie Campbell with Rance Mullenix and Sam Cosentino. Hot-hitting Lyle Overbay steps in against Luke Hochevar. Overbay batting .349 with 18 RBIs in his last 18 games. He's managed to hit in 11 consecutive games and has 7 doubles over that span. And he tagged Zach Greinke for a home run in the second inning last night. Greinke's first home run allowed in 111 innings. This man is a locked-in lefty. In fact, combine the numbers, Lind and Overbay, and you've got two guys who are really powering the offense right now.
Definitely making it happen. Well, 5 doubles on the current homestand. And that's what the Jays need out of their first baseman, is for the power to start to rise from Lyle Overbay. The extra base hits, hit the ball out of the ballpark, went out of here in the deepest part of the ballpark last night, straightaway center field.
3-2.
And also hit a line drive off the wall in right field that drove in 2 in last night's game.
Hochevar with the pitch, a breaking ball that walks Overbay. Hey, the Blue Jays have their first base runner, and it comes with nobody out in the third.
Hochevar showing a lot of respect for the fact that Lyle Overbay is on a good streak. He elects 3-2 here with nobody out at the bottom of the third. Walks Lyle Overbay with a curveball.
Overbay's now walked 24 times this year, second most on the Blue Jays to Marco Scutaro. Stands at first for Raul Chavez, who gets the assignment today behind home plate. He takes a strike from Hochevar. Raul started on Thursday against the Angels and went 2 for 3. And 1, and a check of the runner at first. Chavez is probably getting a little more playing time at this level than he bargained for at the beginning of the year, when the Blue Jays chose to keep Michael Barrett. Gave Chavez the option of looking for work with another organization, but he accepted his assignment to AAA, and he hits that one toward left field, and it's out of play.
And it paid off for him. It was a wise decision because, of course, Barrett got hurt early on, and Chavez recalled from AAA Las Vegas. You know, you don't get to play a lot, such as Chavez, and especially in the case of John McDonald. You know, number one priority is defense. Just play well defensively, make the plays you're supposed to make. Then if you get a base hit, you've had a good day. You get a base hit, drive in a run, you've had a very good day.
Into left field and well hit. This ball is carrying toward the wall, and it's out of here. Raul Chavez with a home run, his first of the season.
And so far, he's having a great day, Jamie.
Wow.
Gets a hanging breaking ball and was fooled just a little bit, but his hands stayed back, so he still had plenty left to hit with. Just throws the barrel of the bat at the baseball, and it was gone from the moment that he hit it.
He becomes the 13th different Blue Jay to hit a home run this year. And now McDonald just misses extra bases by a few feet.
Watch this reaction when he rounds first base.
Hey, when you don't hit them often,
it feels good.
It must feel good when you do.
Yeah, it does. I can relate, believe me.
Well, it'll be tough to wipe that smile off Chavez's face. 2-0 Toronto. And now a broken bat single into center field. So, hey, the reserves are coming up big here. Chavez with a home run. Now McDonald follows.
Breaks his bat but dumps it into center field. And I'd like to go back just very quickly to the walk to Lyle Overbay to start the inning. 3-2, you're walking with a curveball, and that's something that from a baseball perspective or standpoint you hate to see. Make the leadoff man in particular hit his way aboard. He walks him. Now it's cost him here this afternoon, the 2-run home run by Chavez, and now a single by McDonald, and the Jays have some momentum.
And they begin to bring up some of their better hitters, like Marco Scutaro, who goes after the first one, bounces it to short. Tough play by Bloomquist, who goes to second, and that might have cost him a double play. What was the decision here? He seemed to hesitate a little bit.
He had to charge the ball to begin with, and I think Bloomquist felt like his only play was going to be to first. But at the last moment realized he could get the force out. Here you see, he looks like he's going to go to first base and then changes his mind. And if he had given the ball to the second baseman right away, they might have been able to turn it.
They get one as Scutaro now replaces McDonald at first.
And sometimes that's just the result of the fact that Bloomquist doesn't play shortstop every day. He plays all over the field for this ball club. And sometimes you lose a little bit of sense of where you're at on the diamond once in a while. And that could have led to a little bit of indecision on the part of Willie Bloomquist.
Jose Bautista goes swinging and fouls it away. Bautista's lone home run came back in that series in Chicago in April. So it's been a while for him too. But Chavez, now the 13th different man to homer for the Jays this year, gives the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead. 1 out and 1 on. Hochevar from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Bautista, and it's on the ground. What a stab. Bloomquist, who stretches out but cannot get it there in time. An infield single by Bautista. He did well just to keep that from rolling into left field.
Anybody that can play all over the diamond has to be an outstanding athlete, and Willie Bloomquist most certainly has tremendous athleticism. It's just a great effort to even get to the ball and then to throw off his knees accurately to first base. Of course, from the knees, couldn't get enough on the throw to get Bautista at first base, but boy, a great example of the athleticism of Willie Bloomquist.
Bautista will gladly accept the base hit. He has just 5 in his last 29 at bats. So first and second, 1 away. Alex Rios, who grounded out to third base his last time up. Chops that one foul. Alex had an RBI double in the ball game last night. Trying to put Thursday's performance behind him, the day he struck out 5 times against the Angels. Two men on for the Blue Jays. Bautista at first, Scutaro up at second. Runners on the go, and it's fouled away.
And unfortunate somewhat for Rios and the Jays, if that pitch is off the plate or a ball, he's able to stay off of it, not have to swing at the pitch. Of course, with one strike, he's not going to be taking another strike to give the runners a chance to move up. But Marco Scutaro had a great jump off of second base and was going to have no problem stealing third.
Rios with 2 strikes.
As a middle infielder, you have to remind one another and be aware of the fact that Marco Scutaro, although he's not known as a base stealer, doesn't have great speed. You have to know that he'll take advantage of a situation if you don't pay attention to him.
A bouncer to third. Tien goes to second for 1. On to first. A double play. And that ends the 3rd inning. But the Blue Jays get 2 on the home run by Raul Chavez. By staying connected at twitter.com/Blue Jays. Player transactions, roof status, all kinds of things available now by connecting with the Blue Jays by tweeting. It is 2-0 Toronto. Top of the 4th inning, David DeJesus, the left fielder, leads off. Scott Richmond has allowed but 1 hit. Trying to win his 2nd game against Kansas City this year. Let's bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Where's Sam Cosentino?
Well, Jamie, down in my seats now. Cito Gaston taking a couple of regulars out of the lineup and also instructing the team that they weren't responsible to be to the field until 11:30 today. You look at Weaver, Lackey, and Greinke last night. Not only a bit of a physical blow, but a mental break as well. And it looks as if it's worked out so far.
So far, so good for Richmond. He strikes out DeJesus looking.
It's a little bit of a backup slider from Scott Richmond that completely fools DeJesus. Starts it off the plate, lets it come back with the late movement, catch that outer third. Really, a strikeout pitch is his slider to both right-handers and left-handers.
Fouled away by Bloomquist. You know, Rance, these are interesting times for members of the rotation because none of them, other than Roy Halladay, should feel that secure right now about their positions. You've got Richmond, who's coming back after about a 2-week spell away, looking for a good outing. Brian Tallett has obviously performed very well. Casey Janssen comes off a rough outing on Wednesday against the Angels, and Ricky Romero came off 2 rough outings before pitching a pretty good one last night against the Royals. This is popped up. Chavez chasing it down, and it's just out of his reach.
Very good effort by Chavez. The ball just not in the air long enough for him to track it down. He had a long way to go to get there. But I thought last night that Romero, he pitched a very, very good game. You know, if you eliminate that 7th inning where he Actually, one pitch was a pretty good curveball down that Guillen hit out of the ballpark. Was not a bad pitch at all.
Here's a roller. Scutaro picks it up and gets Bloomquist.
I think ideally the Jays would like, if they can ever get the rotation healthy, maybe get Jesse Litch back, and hopefully sometime within the next month maybe get who's the big right-hander, Dustin McGowan back. You could maybe put Talent back out in the bullpen, and that would give the bullpen more depth.
Would you do that? That's the question. The way Talent's been pitching in the rotation,
it would be a tough decision because he has been outstanding. Again, if you take away, you eliminate the start that he had against the Royals in Kansas City, and his ERA as a starter is phenomenal.
2 gone for Billy Butler, who lined out to short his first time up. Hit a bullet, in fact, right at Marco Scutaro. But at some point, Jesse Litch is coming back, although his return has been delayed. They're a little bit confused by the forearm injury that Litch has suffered. He's been examined recently by Dr. James Andrews. And of course, as you mentioned, Dustin McGowan seems to be with the team at all times and hopes to be back in the rotation, hopefully sometime next month. Men like Scott Richmond are holding fort until that time. These outings are important, as you know, because a guy like Richmond wants to say, hey, when some of these regulars start coming back, I retain my spot.
He's making a very good statement here this afternoon. And for me, has pitched well enough all year long to definitely remain in the rotation.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Butler. Here comes the pitch, a breaking ball. Scutaro up and over to first. And a 1-2-3 fourth for the man from Vancouver. Into the bottom half, 2-0 Jays. The world silver medalist in halfpipe. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice day for a ball game.
Oh, it's a great day out here. We're having a great time down here.
Good start. You know, this is such a change from what you do for a living.
Oh, I know. You know what? I don't ever get to a baseball game enough, so I don't know. I'm having a great time right now.
Well, let's talk about your season as we watch Vernon Wells facing Luke Hochevar here. The Blue Jays are on top 2-0. You won the silver medal at the World Championships this past year in Korea, and though you haven't yet secured an Olympic spot, it's awfully close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very close. You know what? I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve, and I'm just waiting to, show everyone what I've got.
Now, for those who don't know a whole lot about halfpipe, when I saw you perform in Cyprus near Vancouver in February, you pulled off, at least tried to pull off, what was then your signature move called the McTwist, but you've renamed it.
Yeah, I've renamed it, and I've actually added a certain flip into it. It was originally an alley-oop McTwist, which is a front flip with a half twist, and basically I added a back flip onto that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's never been landed before. Decided to name it the Bachelor Roll.
Perfect. The Bachelor Roll.
The Bachelor Roll, yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I know you have to spend enormous amounts of time with technique and perfecting what it is that you do, but how much actual physical conditioning do you involve yourself in? All athletes today have a regiment that they do, lifting weights, working out, that sort of thing.
That's right. You know what? A lot of people would, think the opposite of a snowboarder. They think we're just laid back, lazy guys hanging out in the comfort zone, hanging out at home and stuff. But no, we're in the gym 24/7. I do a lot of skateboarding back in Oakville where I live, and other than that, I do trampoline, and yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty rigorous training program.
It's interesting, Jeff, as we look at Adam Lind at the plate here, nobody out. Vernon Wells at first base after the walk. Rance was asking about snowboarding before the game, and Rance comes from California, and I said, they do a lot of snowboarding in California. You just came from there, didn't you?
Yeah, I was actually just at Mammoth Lakes for a 2.5-week-long training camp. Yeah, California's a great place to ride.
And even you would concede that the best man in your discipline comes from San Diego.
Oh yeah, Sean White. He's out there, and we're striving to beat him. But yeah, California's where it's at.
That's going to be tough to do. There's a shot to Butler at first, over to second for one, and the tough 3-6-3 double play pulled off here. So 2 quick outs in the 4th, and we're joined this afternoon by Jeff Batchelor of the National Halfpipe team. I'm told that you bought your first snowboard after earning a whole bunch of money raking leaves and washing windows in Oakville.
That's right.
Although your dad told me that he paid for half of it. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Whatever. You got to have somebody financially backing you when you're that age.
Where do you snowboard if you're growing up in Oakville?
I did a lot of snowboarding up in Collingwood, at Blue Mountain. My parents are members at Osler Ski Club, so I go up and visit once in a while. But you know what? These days I'm just snowboarding wherever I am in the world.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Kevin Millar. And I know Brad Martin, who's also attempting to make the Olympic team, was supposed to be with you today. And he's the baseball player among the two of you, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. It's funny he's not here, but you know what? He'll be here soon.
Oh, well. Millar, the hitter.
Oh, you know what? I see him.
And, he's a little late, is he?
Yeah, he's coming down now.
3 balls and no strikes on Millar. 2 gone in the inning. Hochevar with a pitch. It catches the strike zone. And it's 3-1. How relieved will you be, assuming, what do you have to do to make the Olympic team, to qualify for the Olympics?
Well, pretty well. There's a certain selection of contests that they actually allow us to qualify in. 3 of those are coming up at the end of this year before the Olympics. Basically, how the nomination procedure works is you need 2 top 5s in any one of those contests, and then from there they rank you based on your rankings in those top 5 positions.
Well, we wish you the best of luck as we watch Kevin Millar here. If there's a young snowboarder watching the game today who wants to try their first frontside 5, what would you recommend?
I don't know. Go out there and be fearless. If you've got a dream, if you've got a passion, I've always said just go for it. Don't look back.
251 days away, I'm told, from the Vancouver Olympics.
That's right.
And hopefully you'll be there.
Hopefully I'll be there. I'll be there.
You'll be there. You'll be there. All you need is a top 5.
That's right.
3-2 here. Hochevar with the pitch, and it's fouled by Millar. Jeff Batchelor is our guest. How did you feel when you won silver in Korea?
You know what? I was actually quite surprised. It was a pretty rough week going into the contest. Just wasn't feeling it. I was coming off of an injury in the previous week. And, yeah, I don't know. Just surprised myself straight up.
Great result, though. Here's the payoff. Waved at and missed by Millar. And, Jeff, we wish you the best of luck in Vancouver, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Jamie. Have a good one.
All right, good luck to you. 2-0 for the Blue Jays. KCA.TV. The ultimate baseball experience features 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. For details, please go now to BlueJays.com, where baseball is always on. Jamie Campbell is with Rance Mullenix and Sam Cosentino this afternoon at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays enjoy a 2-0 lead over the Kansas City Royals, a team that has lost 8 straight games. The Royals got off to such a great start this year. By the 5th of May, they'd won 6 in a row. They had an 18-11 record and sat first in the American League Central. And now they're just kind of hanging on, trying to stay afloat. Half a game up on 5th place Cleveland, 5.5 back of division leading Detroit. There's a strikeout as Jacobs goes down swinging. And Richmond continues to work effectively here. Well, the Blue Jays know all about a lengthy losing streak, having just recently lost 9 in a row. But for the Royals, this is an 8-gamer. They have a 6-gamer from earlier this year. As there's a base hit to right field by Jose Guillen. You know, the knock I hear on the Royals these days is that they don't know how to get out of losing streaks. Last night would have been a great opportunity if Greinke had pitched a little better.
Didn't get a good start out of their number 1 starter. Nice piece of hitting by Guillen, driving the ball into right field past a diving John McDonald. Sometimes when you have youth on your ball club, it's tough to figure out a way to get out of it. But usually what you need to end a slump is, you need maybe 3 or 4 well-pitched ball games, so that if your offense is struggling like the Royals' offense is struggling right now and has been, to give you a chance to win a couple of ball games, maybe 3-2, 4-3, and get you back on track. And sometimes with youth they start to press, try to do too much, but all ball clubs are going to go through it. You just have to you have to ride it out. You know you're going to play better. You know you're not as bad as you look when you're going real bad.
Here's Richmond with the 2-0. Fly to left field and deep. Lind is back at the wall, and it's out of here. A 2-run shot ties the game. Just like that, the Royals are back in it. Mark Teahen with his 7th home run of the year, and we're knotted at 2.
Fastball out over the plate, and showed very good opposite field power, did Mark Teahen, driving it over the 375 in left center.
Once again, the left-handers really giving Richmond his troubles. That's 9 home runs surrendered by Richmond this year, all 9 of them hit by left-handed hitters. And now Callaspo goes the other way, and that's just foul. Let's bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, talk a little bit about the situation for the Royals. And when I spoke to Trey Hillman, he said, hey, listen, for me last year, it was a grind. We'd lost 12 straight. And he's a guy who wore his emotions on his sleeves. And he said what he learned from last year is to not be so outwardly emotional, because he thinks that festers into the clubhouse. And so he's learned to deal with that a little better inwardly.
Fly to left. Lind on the run. And it's beyond his reach up against the wall. He fumbles with it as Callaspo stops at second with a double. Did Adam seem a little unsure in his pursuit of that ball?
No, he just wasn't playing very deep to begin with, and he had a long way to go to get to the baseball. If he's playing normal depth in left field, he would have been able, I think, to make the catch. And again, you just go off a scouting report that probably indicates that Callaspo does not have good power to his opposite field. And that's where the scouting report kind of works against you.
Grounded to first. That backs up Overbay. He flips to Richmond covering for the second out. Callaspo off to third.
I think the point made by Sam about the manager, Trey Hillman, for the Royals, it does. If you begin to show a lot of emotion all the time in the dugout, it begins to wear on the players. And it can be, if it's negative emotion, then it becomes a negative reaction with the ball club.
That seemed to be the driving theme throughout that 9-game losing streak that the Blue Jays suffered recently on the road from manager Cito Gaston, who said after it got 5, 6, and 7 games deep, kept saying, we are not panicking here. No lineup changes. Everybody gets their regular position. It's a long, long season. There's no sense in panicking. I guess if the manager shows outward panic, starts to mix things up, then the players must be thinking, oh boy.
Or just begins to show the frustration brought on by the situation.
2-1 to Meyer. He swings at that one. Good break on the pitch from Richmond.
Because when things are going poorly, it's only natural that the players look, you're going to look to your manager, your leader, maybe a little bit more than you do when things are going well. And if that all you're getting feedback wise is negative, then it becomes a negative mindset for the players also. And you start to react in the sense that, the manager's upset with us, he's frustrated with us, he doesn't like what he's seeing, and that's never a good mindset for a player to have. Where if the manager doesn't panic, stays on an even keel, the players will remain relaxed.
3-2 on Meyer. Callaspo dancing off third. The pitch is in. The batter doesn't go around. So Richmond walks Meyer. And he'll face David DeJesus with runners at first and third.
Usually in any ball game that you pitch in, you're going to have a couple of situations where it's difficult for you. You have an inning where you make a few mistakes. Maybe this is the inning here this afternoon for Scott Richmond. He's got to figure out a way to get out of it here. And he'll have to do it against DeJesus.
First pitch to DeJesus off the plate, 1-0. Richmond found himself in a similar type of situation in his outing in Kansas City, April 28th. In the third inning, bases were loaded, 2 out. Jose Guillen came up, and Richmond threw him a challenge fastball, got him to pop out quickly. The Jays went on to an 8-1 victory, and Richmond's record ran to 3-0. Just trying to get out of this inning, giving up just the 2 runs, but that's high. 2 balls and no strikes to DeJesus. Willie Bloomquist, the shortstop, is on deck. The Royals have tied it thanks to a 2-run shot by third baseman Mark Teahan.
And if you're Scott Richmond here 2-0, it'd be nice to a young hitter to be able to just throw something other than a fastball for a strike.
Snap throw down to first, and the runner is back in time. So he went with a fastball, but it was up and away, and now it's 3-0. The Royals have really made him work in this inning. 20 pitches thrown, another throw over to first, chases Meyer back. There's Meyer, making life miserable for Richmond. Here's the 3-0 pitch, in for strike one.
Three-one count this situation. Here's where the defense has to really be on its toes. If that runner breaks off of first base, of course, you got a first and third situation. I doubt it, but you never know. They might try to double steal here in this situation.
Meyer goes. Here's the pitch, and Chavez doesn't even try it. It's ball 4 to DeJesus. So Richmond runs into his first bout of trouble here. He's walked the last 2, loads up the bases, and Bruce Walton comes out for a chat. Walton, with the help of Rick Langford, taking over the coaching duties here for Brad Arnsberg, who's away with his family during their son's high school graduation in Texas. In the bullpen, there's a look at right-hander Sean Camp. There's the scene. Bases loaded for the Royals. 2 away, 5th inning. This game tied at 2. And Willie Bloomquist, who is 0 for 2, facing Scott Richmond.
Be interesting to see pitch selection. You would think Scott Richmond probably starting with something other than that fastball, and he goes with the slider and gets a strike. Oftentimes when a pitching coach goes to the mound, it's not at all unusual to see the first pitch to the next hitter be something other than the fastball, especially when you've just walked the hitter to load the bases.
0-1. Off the plate, Bloomquist doesn't chase. That evens the count. 1-1.
Sometimes that discussion on the mound will revolve around what do we want to make Bloomquist hit in this situation if we can.
Hit it well, hit it far, and that ball is up against the wall. Callaspo is in, Myers in to score. Here's DeJesus as Bloomquist stretches for third, a bases clearing triple. It's 5-2 Kansas City.
Tried to get a fastball in, and Willie Bloomquist just turns on it. A lot of people don't know about Willie Bloomquist is he can run, and run very well, and stretch this ball into the gap in left center into an easy triple.
He has 4 triples this year. 2 have come against the Blue Jays. Cito Gaston wastes no time in sending Scott Richmond to the showers. through 4 innings, gave up just 1 hit, but gives up 4 in the 5th inning and 5 runs to boot, and is gone from this game. Here's Sean Camp.
Yeah, the home run to Tian, the 2-run home run. Those things are going to happen. You're going to make a mistake once in a while, and somebody's going to make you pay for it. Then Callaspo doubled. Then he gets Pena out, 2 outs in the inning, and then he walked Meyer and De Jesus to load the bases, and of course Bloomquist tripled to drive in 3. But you walk Meyer and De Jesus, never give yourself a chance to get an out with either one of those hitters, and you just pitched yourself into a very difficult situation where there was no wiggle room, and Scott Richmond paid for it here this afternoon.
Camp in the ball game, 1-1 on Billy Butler. He gets a strike there. The count is 1-2. Camp worked on Wednesday against the Angels and worked a season high 3 innings. He struck out 4 and did not allow a run. 5-2 KC. The 1-2 pitch to Butler. And it's fly deep to center field. Here's Wells into the shadows. And the out is recorded. The inning comes to an end. The Royals score 5 times. A 5-2 lead KC.
Wants to put you in the comfort zone. Log on to BlueJays.com for your chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to see the Jays in comfort. TD Canada Trust, putting you in the comfort zone.
One bad inning has put Scott Richmond in line to lose this ball game to the Royals. A 5-run 5th for Kansas City. Richmond is chased, allowing 5 earned over 4 2/3. And now in the last half of the inning, Lyle Overbay begins by flying out to center field. It's his first start in just under 2 weeks, and it's a rocky one.
Yeah, what really hurt him this afternoon, and it really, for the most part, it goes unnoticed, were the 2 walks. In the 5th inning, with 2 out, he walked Meyer and De Jesus back to back to load the bases. And that was followed by the triple from Bloomquist. But you could go back and make the point, if he makes either one of those hitters put the ball in play, maybe he gets the out, he's out of the inning, and it's a completely different ball game for him here this afternoon.
Likely still pitching, in fact, as Raul Chavez steps in and faces Hochevar for just the 2nd time. His first time up, he knocked a home run into the bullpen in left field. So Chavez has accounted for both runs with his first home run of the season. The Jays are in a 3-run hole, though, trailing 5-2. Here's Bloomquist backhanding the ball, firing to first. 2 gone. Well, Hochevar certainly has a history with the Blue Jays. His first ever big league victory came against Toronto in April of last season. A 2-1 victory at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. There's McDonald flying to left, a little cross up out there, but DeJesus takes it. And Hochevar gets a 1-2-3 fifth. After 5, it's the Royals 5 and the Blue Jays 2. You're watching Blue Jays baseball on Rogers Sportsnet. .ca. Help bring a 7th NHL team to Canada. 5 in the books on a brilliant day here in Toronto. The GO train pulling in, dropping some of the customers off at nearby Union Station. Late arrivals, I'm sure. The Jays trail it by 3. Sean Camp in relief of Scott Richmond. Faces Mike Jacobs, the DH. Jose Guillen, the right fielder, and Mark Teahan, third baseman, in front of 16,552. That's the paid attendance today at Rogers Center. All 9 Royals came to the plate in that 5th inning. Jacobs started everything, striking out against Richmond. Here he's facing the right-hander Camp, who once played for these Kansas City Royals. In fact, Sean spent 8 years in the minors with 8 different teams before his debut in the major leagues with Kansas City on opening day 2004. 1-2. Now 2-2.
And what you need now, if you're Cito Gaston and the Jays, is some shutout baseball from your bullpen. Give you a chance to play catch up here the rest of the way.
Two pitch, base hit right field. The Jays had shifted their defense to prevent such a thing, but Jacobs lifts it over the head of McDonald for a base hit to right. And the Royals have their first man on base here in the 6th inning.
Slider that stays up in the zone. Although he gave up a base hit, sometimes It's more a sense of a relief for a pitcher when you hang a breaking pitch, such as Camp did to Jacobs, and it ends up just being a single into right field. You almost breathe a sigh of relief, because oftentimes a hanging slider, especially to a guy with power, ends up in the seats. So a situation now, if he can make a good pitch to again, get a ground ball, get a double play.
One and one. Guillen is 1 for 2. He singled and scored in the 5th inning.
And for me, Guillen is the type of hitter, he'll sit on breaking balls once in a while. I'm convinced he was sitting on the breaking ball he hit off out of the ballpark last night off Romero. Wouldn't surprise me he's looking slider in this at bat. In his first at bat this afternoon, he got a hanging breaking ball from Scott Richmond and was not fooled by it at all. Popped it up to Overbay at first base, but was dead on it. Just missed.
Well, he swings at that slider away. Still 1 and 2.
With 2 strikes now, it's tough to just sell out to the slider now. Now he has to more of a defensive position in the sense that he's got to protect a little bit, so he's got to respect fastball first and try to fight the tough slider off.
The ball gets away from Overbay. Jacobs isn't going anywhere, though.
Looked like pretty good reaction by Overbay to keep this ball from getting away from him going down the right field line. Throw was from Camp seemed to be somewhat into the runner.
Camp deals the 1-2 well outside.
Oftentimes the pitcher gives you that quick snap throw over to first base. There's not a lot of reaction time.
The 2-2, and he waves at it and misses. Nice call there, Rance. He got him on the slider.
Finally finishes him off with it, makes a quality pitch. But again, when you're ahead in the count and you've ran the fastball in on the hands a couple of times, now you go out there, you can get the hitter to chase.
Mark Teahen now fresh from hitting a home run against Scott Richmond. His 7th of the year, made it a 2-2 ball game. Two and nothing. Teahen entering his 5th year with the Royals. Oakland's first pick in the 0-2 draft, but came to Kansas City in a 3-team trade that sent Carlos Beltran to the Houston Astros. Kansas City got their catcher John Buck out of that deal as well.
Sometimes you can almost just sense that a pitcher versus a certain hitter is uncomfortable, and that it looks here in this situation like Camp a little uncomfortable with Teahen at the plate. He was trying to make the perfect pitch, or if he missed, make sure he misses off the plate. Of course, 3-0, it's just Teahen taking all the way. He gets fastball strike.
Now it's 3-1. There's a grounder backhanded by McDonald. He gloves it to Scudero, and they get the double play. You're the magic man with the magic hands, Johnny Mack.
There's not a better defensive infielder, I don't think, in baseball. This is just outstanding athleticism, great feel. tremendous double play. He is a pleasure to watch wherever they play him on the infield.
The Rangers and the Red Sox from Fenway Park. Derek Holland gets the start there against John Lester, who looked so good here at Rogers Center last week. And it's the Angels in Detroit on Sportsnet Ontario. Another look at what Johnny Mac was able to do with Marco Scutaro. So that was the top of the sixth. This is the bottom half with Scutaro leading off. Luke Hochevar on the hill for the Royals, getting a foul ball from Scutaro. By the way, that game on Sportsnet Ontario tonight, the Angels and Tigers from Comerica, has Kelvin Escobar returning to the major leagues for the first time in about a year and a half. He comes off the disabled list and starts for LA against Edwin Jackson, who is 5-3 for the division leading Detroit Tigers.
The Angels have finally gotten healthy, and they're going to be tough the rest of the way.
Scutaro high and deep to left field. De Jesus at the track, and he comes up with a catch.
The ball might have got in on Marco Scutaro just enough that it stays in the ballpark. And De Jesus did not look real good going after the baseball. Was able to make the catch, but he struggled with this from the get-go. Could have been that the ball carried a little bit more than he anticipated. But that was a ball where he needed to turn, run, get back very quickly, then find the wall. It would have made it easier play.
2 strikes quickly on Jose Bautista. He's 1 for 2, picked up a single in the third. Rips that one foul. Hochevar's last start in this building last year, May the 24th, he suffered a 6-0 loss, gave up a first inning grand slam to Brad Wilkerson. So he's 1-1 career against the Blue Jays. His team leading by 3 as he deals with Bautista, who lines it to center field. And the out is made by Meyer. These two clubs do it again tomorrow, and we'll have it for you on Sportsnet, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Roy Halladay is 9-1. He'll go to the mound for the Blue Jays against right-hander Kyle Davies. Hochevar made that interesting decision after being drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers in 05 to not sign with LA and instead play semi-pro in the independent leagues. I believe initially in that 05 draft he was taken about 40th or 41st overall, and decided to take a gamble and go a little higher the next year, and it paid off. Number 1 overall. Line shot out to left field, and DeJesus makes the catch. Scutaro, Bautista, and Rios go down in order in the 6th inning. Exclusively at BlueJays.com. Get Cito's thoughts on this game by logging on to BlueJays.com soon after the game concludes. The Jays trailing the Royals 5-2 on a gorgeous afternoon in Toronto. We begin the 7th inning with Callaspo, Pena, and Meyer coming to the plate for the Royals. This is Jamie Campbell with Rance Mulliniks and Sam Cosentino. Scott Carson is with us as well. His latest column on 20 years of the Rogers Center can be found on the front page of Sportsnet.ca. 1-1 to Callaspo. Now 2 balls and a strike. Today we'd like to wish a happy belated 90th to Albert Klemetsky, who's watching in Roblin, Manitoba. And watching as the Blue Jays are down by 3. 2-2 on the second baseman Callaspo, who has a double and 2 trips. Backhanded by Overbay right at the line. Camp is covering, 1 gone. It was certainly fun to see John Gibbons yesterday. Toronto's old manager is back in the building, now the bench coach for Trey Hillman. Always a lovable sort. That's about how he sat when he was managing the Blue Jays. Always looks so darn comfortable. Let's bring in Sam Cosentino. Sam?
Well, with Trey Hillman now into year 2 of his managerial experience, John Gibbons is a guy he's really learned to lean on, having gone through the 500 record with the Toronto Blue Jays. Oftentimes after losses, Gibbons is the first one in Trey Hillman's office.
Pena ricochets that one off Bautista's glove, who tracks it down in foul territory and tried to prevent him from getting 2. Pena, who doesn't run that well, makes it there anyway.
Had a great effort by Bautista. Was almost able to flag this line drive down right off the tip of his glove. And then he hustles after it, trying to prevent the extra bases. But even if he comes up with the ball cleanly, I don't believe he was going to have a play at second base. But great hustle.
So Pena is now 2 for 3. Mitch Meyer, the center fielder, 0 for 1. And a strike delivered by Camp. Here's a chopper headed towards Scudero. He gloves and gets to first. Meyer's gone. Pena's off to third. 2 down, 7th inning.
And another difficult play made to look pretty routine by Marco Scudero.
Left-hander Jesse Carlson starts to throw.
It doesn't get a lot of recognition, but this Jays defense is one of the best all around in baseball. And not only are they very, very sure, but a lot of range. They get to some baseballs that others don't.
Here's McDonald getting to that one. He throws out to Jesus. And that concludes the top of the 7th inning. We'll stretch at Rogers Center and come back with Vernon Wells leading off. Royals scored 5 times.
Yeah, that 5th inning was just the undoing so far today for Richmond and the Jays. And again, I go back, it's redundant, but those 2 base on balls to load the bases really have kind of, that's where the ball game got away from him. That was followed by the triple from Willie Bloomquist. But again, it's that 1 inning here this afternoon that has plagued Scott Richmond.
2 out walks are a killer, especially when you walk the number 9 hitter. And it certainly came back to haunt Richmond. Walking Meyer with 2 out, and then DeJesus as well. Both men came around to score on the bases clearing triple by Willie Bloomquist. So the Jays find themselves in a 3-run hole with 9 outs to play with. Vernon Wells, the first hitter, facing Hochevar. Vernon in the ball game is 0 for 1. He has grounded out to third and walked in the 4th. The Royals historically have been easy pickings for the Blue Jays, at least in recent times. Toronto's won 21 of their last 35 going back to the 05 season. Bloomquist gets Wells, one gone. And hey, Tuesday is the amateur draft. Something Hochevar knows all about, and you can sign up to get draft alerts. That means the Blue Jays will alert you when they make their first 5 picks. All you have to do is text the word draft to the short code 707070. Standard message rates apply. Adam Lind now at the plate. The Blue Jays will select their first man with the 20th overall pick on Tuesday.
And as we know, they will pick the most,
here you go,
the best available that's there when they get to their 20th pick. I promise you they have 3 or 4 that they have a pretty good idea probably going to be that deep into the draft before they're selected that they would like to have. But they're not going to disclose that, of course.
No. Don't want to give away any secrets. And as Lind has proved, you don't always have to be a first rounder to become a serviceable major leaguer. He was taken in the 3rd round in 2004 out of the University of Southern Alabama. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swings and misses, a strikeout. In the Kansas City bullpen, there's left-hander John Bell, who had a brief stint with the Blue Jays. You may find a Canadian selected in the 1st round for the, I guess, 3rd consecutive year. Teams are quite high on a left-handed pitcher named James Paxton from British Columbia. Played his amateur ball with the North Delta Blue Jays, and right now pitches for the University of Kentucky. So keep an eye on that name when Tuesday's draft rolls around. There's Kevin Millar, never drafted. Millar was discovered by the Marlins while playing in the Northern League with the team from St. Paul, Minnesota. He took the long way around. He doesn't go and stays alive. 1-2. Bob Davidson manning first base today. Hochevar settled in nicely. He has not allowed a Blue Jay hit since Bautista's single in the 3rd. Trying to get a 1-2-3 inning here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. His lone hiccup was serving up Raul Chavez's first home run of the season. It was a short-lived 2-0 lead for the Jays.
Since that time, he's been very, very good. He's really done a nice job this afternoon of pitching inside effectively with the fastball, for the most part keeping it down. And he's had a very good slider here this afternoon that he's a number of strikeouts with and used very effectively to the outer 3rd.
He hasn't won at this level since beating Felix Hernandez of the Mariners July 11th of last year. And this one backs up Tien. The throw hops over Butler. And so Millar is safe as they kick it around in the infield. Charge an error to the 3rd baseman Mark Tien and put Millar on base with 2 gone.
Tien playing very deep at 3rd. You see he backs up and is almost into the outfield. And then a long throw, and it looked like it might have hit right at the cut where the turf and the dirt meet, and took a very erratic hop. Really came up hard on the first baseman, Butler, who was unable to make the play. See if we can see where it. Right there where the turf meets the dirt, and you could see the ball came up very hard. I think the first baseman is anticipating if it hits that turf, it's going to take a nice little skip to him, and it was going to be an easy play.
So pitching coach Bob McClure is out. Hochevar has really pitched a nice game. He's got a man on here with 2 out. What kind of conversation do you expect is going on here? Got Lyle Overbay coming up, and Overbay, as you know, is hitting quite well.
I think with 2 out here in this situation, all he's doing really is buying time for the bullpen. In the event that Overbay were to get on board and reach base, might want to have that bullpen ready. They got a righty-lefty situation, and of course, you would think if Overbay gets on there, maybe a chance that Cito Gaston would elect a pinch hit for Chavez, so you want to be able to get the matchup, or at least create the matchup you would best like if they counter off the bench with a pinch hitter.
Overbay calls time, and I guess waves away some gnats in front of home plate. He's 0 for 1 this afternoon, trying to extend a hit streak to 12 games. Ball 1. So right-hander Kyle Farnsworth joins John Bale. Overbay finds the gap in right center field. Extra bases for Lyle. Kevin Millar heading for third, and he is held there by third base coach Nick Leyva.
You're down by 3 runs, and of course Kevin Millar does not run well at all. Ball driven by Overbay hard into the gap. And most certainly you're not going to run into the last out at the plate if the Royals execute the relay, which they did very well. Millar was going to be a dead duck at the plate. But you keep yourself in a situation where with a base hit here, you're back within 1 run. It's the base hit into the outfield.
So that's 12 straight games for Overbay with a base hit. His longest hitting streak is 18 back in 2004 with the Milwaukee Brewers. And gives the Blue Jays an opportunity here with the only man to really hurt Hochevar on this day, Raul Chavez, but there you see Trey Hillman. They bought enough time to get those relievers warm, and he'll go with right-hander Kyle Farnsworth. So Hochevar is gone. A pitching change is in effect and will return on Rogers Sportsnet. For another Rogers Fast Fact, brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. And the all-time record in this building for the Blue Jays, including the postseason, is 880 victories, 731 losses. Let's see if the Blue Jays can rally here for one. A victory, that is. Kyle Farnsworth, who's had a tough year in relief for the Royals, appears for the 21st time. 18 2/3 innings of work for Farnsworth. He's allowed 7 earned runs on 16 hits. Here's the scene, 2nd and 3rd for the Blue Jays. Millar is at 3rd. Overbay, who's doubled to extend a hit streak, stands at 2nd. 2 gone, bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch roller to third base. And Chavez hustles down to first, but not in time to beat the throw, and the Royals get out of it. Farnsworth doing the job on 1 pitch. 2 are left on base. And after 7, it's a 5-2 Kansas City lead. KCA help bring a 7th NHL team to Canada. Jesse Carlson has now made 28 appearances, tied for 1st in the American League. Often used, not effective recently though. He's allowed 13 earned runs over his last 11 2/3. He'll be on to pitch against the Royals here in the 8th inning. Here's the in-game box score, and the damage has come for Kansas City in the 5th inning. They scored 5 times on 4 hits. And really the big blow, a bases-loaded triple with 2 out, courtesy of Willie Bloomquist.
Willie Bloomquist with the big hit for the Royals here this afternoon.
And he's the first man up here in the 8th inning. Carlson gets a swing. Bloomquist signed with Kansas City after 7 years in Seattle. Carlson deals, bunted along the line, and it rolls foul. 0-2. Been a decent game for Luke Hochevar, who goes 6 2/3. His only burp, really the 2-run home run given up to Raul Chavez directly after Lyle Overbay had walked.
Came out here this afternoon, gave the Royals a solid performance, and that's what they really needed, coming in here having lost 8 in a row. And their #1 starter Greinke getting knocked around pretty good in last night's ball game.
There's the 0-2 pitch up high. A late swing from Bloomquist. He's down on strikes.
Yes.
So Carlson gets his first man.
Sometimes when a ball club, there's kind of two ways you're going to go as a strikeout with a good breaking ball from Carlson. When you're struggling and your number one starter has a rough outing, and sometimes you can take the mindset of, we got to go back out here, come back day game following a night game. We're really scuffling, and you can let it be a negative, or you can take it and say, we're going to use it as a positive, and we're going to come out even more determined this afternoon to get this losing streak stopped and get us going back in the right direction.
Those who follow the Royals frequently were telling me before the game that the one thing they have noticed in this ball club that has changed since they got off to a great start in April is that their patience at the plate has essentially vanished. They seem to be a team, and Trey Hillman made the statement in spring training that he wanted every player to go up there knowing what the best pitch was to hit, knowing what they were comfortable with, and looking for that particular pitch. And the feeling is, as they started to slide down the standings a little bit, players would go up and swing early in the count and get behind early in the count.
And when you start to press a little bit, what you do, you swing early in the count. Oftentimes you're not swinging at a good pitch to hit. You're not being selective. It's okay. Again, it's all right to swing early in the count if you're swinging at the pitch you're looking for and it's a good one to hit. But if you're pressing a little bit and you're kind of start to swing at everything and the stuff that's borderline and start to get yourself out and give it bats away, that's no good.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Now 2-2. You know, it's highly possible that Trey Hillman offered you up a towel at one point or cleaned your cleats, because his first job in baseball in 1983 was as the visitors clubhouse attendant at Arlington Stadium in Texas. Down the line, and that sneaks under Bautista's glove. Butler's off to second, and he doubles with 1 out.
Well, there's no doubt he did.
He probably did.
Yeah, I was playing then.
The kid's done well.
Ball hit hard. Great effort from Bautista, and again just came up a little short. Might even gotten a piece of the ball. Ball was hit very hard. All teams are going to struggle at some point during the course of the season. You're going to hit some rough water. What's most important is how you respond. And if you respond in a positive way, you're going to get out of it much quicker than you are if you take on the negative attitude, and things can really get away from you if you do that.
DH Mike Jacobs. Here's a big hitter who comes over from Florida, acquired for reliever Leo Nunez. What a year last year with the Marlins, 32 home runs for Jacobs. He was a top prospect with the Mets at one point, but was sent to Florida when New York acquired Carlos Delgado. Does he have what you would call a long swing, Rance?
At times he does. At times he gets a little bit long, but seems like from swing to swing you get a little bit. That swing was a pretty good one. Just a pretty good pitch that was in just enough. It tied him up just a little bit. If for me, and I haven't seen him much here in this series, Jacobs to me looks at times he gets a little impatient at the plate and again starts chasing bad pitches. He's done that a couple of times here this afternoon. He struck out chasing a couple of bad curveballs in an at bat earlier today. but he has power. Hit a ball out of here last night off of Romero to center field that he crushed.
So he's got 10 home runs this year. (5-2) Kansas City, top of the 8th inning. Butler, the base runner at second after a double. 1 away. Carlson in relief of Camp. And the 1-2 pitch to Mike Jacobs. Sends it foul.
Now, if you're Jesse Carlson and you look at how Jacobs reacted to the breaking ball, he was leaning out over the plate. He fouls it off over here to the left side. If you're going to throw that pitch again, make sure you start it on the plate and then let it finish off of it. Maybe a better pitch right here is run the fastball back in on his hands, because he was definitely laying out over the plate on the previous pitch.
Here she comes, low and away.
But that was a good one. He started it down and away, let it finish off the plate. But he definitely has him ripe for a fastball in if he chooses to go there. But pitchers in this situation in this type of matchup have a tendency to go with the pitch they're most comfortable with. That may be the breaking ball.
3-2 now. Jose Guillen is on deck for the Royals. Mike Jacobs, the hitter. Carlson sets and fires, and he gets a foul.
And again, after the fastball there that got on his hands a little bit, he could go back to the curveball if he wanted to. But the problem is, so far this afternoon, especially in this bat in particular, Carlson has not commanded that pitch very well. 3-2, it's tough to go back to it, especially with a right-hander Guillen on deck. You want to make Jacobs put the ball in play.
He loses him, walking Jacobs. And now he'll deal with power from the right side and Guillen.
But in that particular at bat, Jacobs showed very good patience. He didn't get himself out. He really had some very good discipline, and it paid off for him.
He was clearly satisfied with withdrawing the walk there in a very tough battle against Carlson, because he came down to first base and fist pumped first base coach Rusty Kuntz.
Because he knows he had a good at bat. He battled. He didn't throw it away.
And so it gives Guillen a chance to hit with 2 on. Guillen is 1 for 3. He's popped out to first, singled to right field and scored, and struck out in his last at bat. Here's Carlson with the 0-1 pitch, and now 2 strikes. You get the impression he's up there looking for a breaking ball?
I believe that he was the second pitch, because he took a fastball middle in. And I think if he would have been looking fastball, he'd have jumped all over the second pitch.
So it's 0-2.
And that typically is what's called guessing. He didn't initially maybe walk up there and sit on the breaking ball. First pitch was a curveball to him. He didn't offer at it, and I think that's when he went to breaking ball, then a fastball, strike 2.
Butler up at second. There's Jacobs at first. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Guillen. Carlson deals. It's down low, smothered by Chavez. No movement on the base paths. 2-2 on the hitter.
It was a good pitch to go with, the changeup. Guillen had not seen it in this at bat, but unfortunately not able to command it, bouncing it in the dirt.
Popped him up into center field. Vernon Wells comes in from the shadows. Guillen is gone for the second out. Time now for the home play of the game, presented by Burger King, home of the Whopper. And we go back to the 5th inning. A 2-0 lead for the Blue Jays erased when Mark Teahen hits one to left field. His 7th home run of the year. The Royals would add 3 more, and that is the play of the game. Brought to you by Burger King, home of the Whopper. Teahen muscles it to left field. A base hit as Butler rounds, and he's coming in to score. 6-2 now for Kansas City. A 2-out base hit for Teahen, and they extend their lead.
Second baseman, number 13, Alberto Castro.
Not a bad pitch. He ran the ball in on the hands. You can see Teahen there pulling his hands in, trying to get the barrel to it. It jams him, but this is a base hit more of as just a result of where it was hit. Ball was not hit hard at all, and of course Butler was going to be able to score no problem from second base.
There's a strike on Callaspo.
And when a pitcher's having a rough time, struggling a little bit, because they get into slumps also, and things like that happen to you. You make a good pitch, you run it in on the hands, and a guy's able to dump it into the outfield or squeeze something just out of the reach of an infielder. And that's where Jesse Carlson's at right now. That and the fact that overall the command's not real good. It's most certainly not what we've seen it be when he's on top of his game.
Wave and a miss, and Callaspo goes down swinging for out number 3. The Royals pick up another run on 2 hits and a walk and lead the Blue Jays 6-2. Changes for the Royals defensively. There's Tony Pena Jr. marking his territory, taking over short for Willie Bloomquist. And now Bloomquist moves into right field, taking the spot vacated by Jose Guillen. The in-game box score for the Blue Jays does not look very good. Just 4 hits over the course of the afternoon.
You have to give Luke Hochfer a lot of credit. He did a nice job this afternoon mixing it up, kept the ball down, used his fastball in on the hands and the breaking ball away very effectively. Kept the Jays hitters off balance.
First pitch to John McDonald to begin the last of the 8th is a strike. Kyle Farnsworth continues in relief. He picked up a 1-pitch out, getting Chavez to ground out with 2 men on in the 7th inning. You talk about a rocky start. Farnsworth had one in his first year with the Royals. On April 19th, his ERA was 18.90. But he recently extended his scoreless inning streak to over 15 innings in the last 15 appearances and has lowered the ERA dramatically. He strikes out John McDonald, out number 1.
Good hard slider from Farnsworth. About 87, 88 miles an hour. That's nasty, right on the black.
Marco Scutaro now. Farnsworth always had the makings of a dominant relief pitcher, a closer type with a big frame, 6'4", 6'5", weighs about 240.
At one time threw very hard. He threw 95, 96, 97.
As a closer, though, he's only really had 1 year of everyday duties as the 9th inning man when he split the year between Detroit and Atlanta in 2005. The Braves wanted him back to be their closer after that season, but Farnsworth instead signed a lucrative contract to join the Yankees as a setup man to Mariano Rivera. Two and one. And a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Scutaro. The Blue Jays know they have their ace going in the game tomorrow. Roy Halladay has 9 victories and an ERA at 2.77. He'll look for win number 10 tomorrow afternoon against the Royals. Be sure to join us at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific for the broadcast. As Scutaro hits it to center field. Meyer backtracking, and he's right there on the track. So a long fly out for Scutaro, and that's out number 2 as B.J. Ryan is up and throwing in the bullpen. Bautista today, one of just 4 men with a base hit. He singled in the 3rd. Overbay has doubled to extend his hit streak. Chavez has a home run, and John McDonald has a single. That's it, though, against Kansas City pitching. Luke Hochfer is poised to pick up his first win in the big leagues in almost a year. Hit high and deep to left field. DeJesus backing up, and he comes down with the baseball. A 1-2-3 inning for Farnsworth. And after 8 here in Toronto, it's the Royals 6 and the Blue Jays 2. coming up on the Hockey Central Playoff Edition on 4 channels tonight at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Join the boys a little later to talk some hockey.
And I don't know all that much about hockey, admittedly, but I know this much. If you go back to Pittsburgh, you go back into your on the home ice and you mess around and get beat, you're probably finished. But now they've brought this back and made a heck of a series out of it again.
How about that, eh? A 2-0 lead for Detroit at home. Pittsburgh takes 2 in Pittsburgh. Now they're back in Detroit. We'll see if the shift in momentum has aided the Penguins.
I just kind of compare that to baseball. If you go on the road to start a playoff series, if you lose the first 2 and then you come home and you lose 1 at home, you're in a lot of trouble.
B.J. Ryan is on. Brian Pena, the batter, who catches for Trey Hillman tonight. 2 for 3 on the afternoon, a single and a double. Things have really changed for BJ. When he's in his normal position as closer of this team, there's a big fire-laden scoreboard that flashes as he runs in from the bullpen to a song, I believe, by the band System of the Down. And now that he's no longer the closer, it's a much quieter entrance for BJ. This was the situation I think he feared in spring training when it was brought up in late March as to whether or not the Blue Jays would go with Scott Downs as their closer. He gets Pena to roll over on that one. 1 away. And Ryan said, quite frankly, quote, "It's an uncomfortable question with a lot of uncomfortable answers." But he has really had no other choice but to accept his role.
And sometimes you just don't get the answer you want to hear. And right now he's going to have to pitch his way back into the closer role.
To his credit, I have not heard him say anything negative about his new place on this team, at least publicly. Perhaps there are closed door meetings, perhaps not.
I don't think so. He's been around long enough, and I think he's honest enough with himself to realize, I wasn't throwing the ball well. Then I went on the disabled list, and I haven't been 100% since coming off the disabled list. And I've been sharp with the command. And the velocity's down a little bit from when he's at his best. And sometimes it just takes enough appearances to go back out there till you build the arm strength back up and you get back up to where you need to be. Now, and you hope that happens for B.J. Ryan.
Two balls and 2 strikes on the center fielder, Mitch Meyer. Now 3-2.
And the reason for the importance to the velocity is you get back up to where you're pitching at 89, 90 miles an hour with your fastball. That also, the arm speed's better, so the break on the slider, the breaking ball is going to be a lot harder and later and sharper. And when you get up to around 89 or 90, the hitters have to cheat a little bit sometimes to get to that fastball, or they most certainly have to respect it more. It speeds them up a little bit. Then they're more prone to chase the breaking ball out of the strike zone, especially when B.J. Ryan's ahead in the count.
Meyer's giving him quite a fight here. Here's another 3-2 pitch, and that gets him. Strike 3 called. Meyer's out looking. 2 out in the 9th inning. Back to the top of the order now. Left fielder David DeJesus comes back up. 0 for 3. He's walked and scored. Kansas City trying to end a losing streak at 8 consecutive. They're in control of this one. 6-2 is the lead, top of the 9th inning. Scheduled for the Blue Jays in the bottom half, Alex Rios, Vernon Wells, and Adam Lind. Fly ball, shallow right field. Rios is in, and he will lead it off when we continue. The Blue Jays need 4 to tie against the Royals. Royals in the final game of the series, 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And here is the matchup. You have to like it if you're a fan of the Blue Jays. Roy Halladay trying to become the first in the majors to double digits in victories, 9-1 on the year. And he faces Kyle Davies, who's just 2-5 with a 5.2 ERA. Here is Kansas City's closer, Joakim Soria, with his team leading by 4. Not a save situation here. Still, the numbers are extremely good for Soria, who missed 17 games this year with a right rotator cuff strain. New catcher is Miguel Olivo. So an entirely new battery for the 9th inning.
As you mentioned, Jamie, not a save situation, but Soria perfect 7 for 7 in save situations so far this year.
Joakim was an all-star last year. Facing a 2-time all-star here in Alex Rios. 3-0. Well, the Blue Jays need some base runners. Here's a good count. Ball 4. All it takes is 4 pitches to get Rios on base.
Usually, if you're going to get back into a ball game against a very good arm and a very good relief pitcher, you need him to get wild a little bit. You never know. You get a couple of boards, somebody hit a ball in the gap. You've got a guy on deck who so far this afternoon has not had a very good day, but came into the ball game swinging a very hot bat. If Wells can get aboard, Lynn hits a ball in the gap, all of a sudden, you got yourself a ball game, you're in a lot of trouble.
1 on and nobody out. Vernon is 0 for 2. Soria just recently turned 25. What an acquisition by the Royals. They got him in the Rule 5 draft a few years ago from the San Diego Padres. After Soria had been pitching in the Mexican League and instantly became a force in the Royals bullpen last year, saving 42 games. 0-2 on Vernon Wells. A chopper to short. Pena takes it himself, fires in time to get the double play.
Nice play by Pena. Showed some outstanding arm strength. Didn't really have his feet set underneath him, but a lot on this throw to first base. He takes it himself right here. See, throws almost just off of that front foot and got an awful lot on that throw.
And so Adam Lind is the last man standing as Soria gets a strike. Hit it in the air to right field. Over comes Bloomquist, and that's the ball game. The Royals end their losing streak at 8. These guys are happy customers. It finally comes to an end. They defeat the Blue Jays 6-2 on a brilliant day. The series is split. The winner tomorrow wins the series. For Rance Mullinex, Sam Cosentino, and Scott Carson, I'm Jamie Campbell. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.